Your next step. What will it be? Uni, college, sixth form, apprenticeships, going out to work or starting your own business? What are the pros and cons for each? You ask the questions and we'll give you the real answers. This is The Fridge with KenChoicesForYou.com, a guide to your future. Davey B.
Hello, this is Davey B. Welcome to The Fridge for a Wednesday night. This show tonight is all about your options. If you're leaving school, thinking about going to college, maybe you're leaving college, what's next? Well, all week we're looking at the available routes for you and answering your questions and once and for all putting to bed those myths and separating the fact from fiction. Monday night we covered university, degrees and higher education, and last night we covered apprenticeships. If you missed the last two shows, here are the highlights.
Monday night on The Fridge.
What's the biggest question to do with money in universities that you get asked?
Well, the biggest question for me is the fact that it's going up from 2012 September. So the young people who are applying for university now are going to be faced with these fees that are going to go up £9,000. But already now it's going through Parliament. Hasn't even been passed by Parliament yet. So it's a lot of changes and so on. But some universities now saying, perhaps we won't charge £9,000. They're going backwards. They're saying perhaps we will only charge 7.5, maybe 6. If you're going to go to university, you're going to go to something like, for example, law, and then become a high-earning solicitor or barrister afterwards. Why should the taxpayer have to fund that when you're going to be earning so much at the end of it? The other point would be, society needs to educate its people so that it's the good of the whole society. We're getting into a very hypothetical debate.
Last night on The Fridge.
Traditionally, apprenticeships years and years ago were more around the construction industries, for people that maybe didn't want to pursue the university route or weren't able to, but that's completely changed now.
Why isn't everybody doing it? Surely it's the way forward. There must be some negatives. Carla, that's a very good question. What do you think?
It is a good question. I think apprenticeships are becoming more popular out there. One of the main reasons is that you can't get into every single job or career with an apprenticeship. As I said earlier, you do tend to need to go to university for certain ones. Also, it's about getting employers on board as well. Some areas of careers are quite limited in what apprenticeships are available, and we really need employers to take on young people, to be taking on more young apprentices. So although there are apprenticeships out there, in certain areas there's quite a few, in some areas there aren't that many. Depends on the apprenticeship, but sometimes you do need to have certain qualifications. So it is about looking at that and doing all your research, really. Having said that, there are options for you if you haven't got the qualifications to build those up and then progress onto an apprenticeship.
Last night on The Fridge.
So there you go. That was the last two nights where we were talking about apprenticeships and university. And tonight it's further education. That is sixth form and college. Is it right for you? What do you need to know? Well, as with every show, we have a resident expert from Connections here to answer your questions. Tonight, it's further education. He's a guru. It's Craig Garton. Welcome to the show, fella.
Hello, good evening.
Right, now, we need you to justify your credentials, as with all the other experts. What makes you a further education expert?
Well, I work for an organisation called Connections Kent and Medway. My profession is as a careers advisor, so I've got about 10 years' experience of advising young people in schools and colleges.
What questions do you get asked a lot?
Around further education, it's mainly about, what should I choose, which subjects, which combinations, and then, a lot of questions around should I go to sixth form, should I go to a college, that type of thing.
Well, we're going to be answering those questions tonight, plus loads more. If you've got any questions at all for Craig tonight, we'd love to hear from you. You can text. The text number is 87474. Make sure you start your message with the word extra, followed by your message. If you want to tweet us your question or tweet about us, it's at kmfmextra. Or you can join us via Facebook. It's facebook.com/kmfmextra. Post your question on our wall, or you can direct message us. We'll be answering all your questions tonight about college and sixth form and further education right here at KMFM Extra on The Fridge.
The Fridge with Davey B. KMFM Extra.
Tonight on The Fridge, we're joined by Craig Garton from Connections. Hello, fella.
Hello there.
Thank you for joining us. We're talking about further education. That's everything from sixth form to college and everything in between. We're answering your questions, taking your calls, texts, emails, tweets, Facebook messages, and so much more. Give you all the information as to how you can get in touch very, very soon. If you're brave enough to come on the radio, either via a message or via a phone call, we can always phone you back as well. If you want to tweet us, we'll get in touch and maybe get your phone number and ring you, as we are doing tonight with a few people. Are you all right to take some messages?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see if we can answer any of these myths and bust them as best we can. Here we go. Question number 1.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi Davey B, this is Sammy from Ashford. I need to make the decision between sixth form and college. Listening to the show tonight, you guys seem to be telling it how it is. Can you be honest and tell me what are the main differences between sixth form and college? Thank you.
End of message.
What are the main differences?
Well, good question there from Sammy, you've got to say. I think what you need to be looking at is, be honest with yourself about what you really want. College is obviously different from school. New surroundings, new environment, new staff to deal with. So I think you've got to look at, how you feel about school right now.
Yeah.
Are you getting on okay? Do you get on with the staff? Have you got a good kind of, foundation there to build on?
What are the pluses to sixth form in comparison to college?
Well, at sixth form, you're going to stay in a scenario that's familiar to you. You're going to know the staff, know the teachers. It's quite possible that you'll have similar subject teachers and the people in your class will be the same guys you're with now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be easier for you to get used to that and to adjust to that.
Okay.
If you move on to a college, there is a little bit of adjustment that needs to take place there.
Sure.
But there's no getting away from the fact that colleges will offer courses that you possibly can't do at your sixth form. So you need to look at that.
Okay, interesting. And obviously as well, you can go to another school, can't you, to do sixth form? Even if you're at one school, you can go to another school and do it. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, this is, if you're in year 11, this is the time really where you've got a big decision to make and all of those options are out there for you.
Right.
And the reason we're doing this today is, now's the time to get out there and start looking and comparing those choices.
So don't just check out the colleges, basically. Do check some of the other schools in your area because you never know, they might be doing some amazing courses.
Yeah, definitely. If you go on to, one good website is kentchoicesforyou.com.
Yep.
If you go onto that website, you'll be able to check out from there all of the options available. You can put in the subjects that interest you, and then right away you'll get a list of where that's available in your area.
Are there schools around this area that are specialist in certain topics?
Yeah, I mean, there will be schools that have a specialist status, certainly. Yeah. So there may be a school, that has a science background, a school that has a humanities or a languages background, and that is really important. What you will find is schools are quite good at telling you that.
Yeah,
so on their prospectuses, on their websites, that kind of information will come across. So as part of your research, you need to be looking at it.
With Davey B. KMFM Extra.
Right, so basically tonight we are talking further education. Craig Garton is a further education expert for Connections. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Now, we fixed the machine, and it's not just Sammy that's asking questions. We've got someone else. So are you okay to answer this question?
Fantastic, let's do it.
Here we go.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi KMFM Extra, it's Natalie here from Bearsted. I haven't had the best start to year 11. I'm told the whole experience in sixth form is more relaxed than adult. Would you say this is true, as it would have a massive influence on my decision to stay on or go to college?
End of message.
Good question.
Very good question indeed.
Yeah.
Natalie, well, we don't know the circumstances around why you're having a difficult time at the moment. What I would say is that sixth form is definitely a more adult environment. You will have more responsibility for your own learning, more responsibility for working on time, that kind of thing, making things happen for yourself. But equally, that is the case at college also.
Yeah.
You're going to be moving on to a new environment, new subjects. So you've got to get that right. You've got to make sure you're ready to take responsibility and be ready for that.
Would you say colleges give you more freedom than at school, because they're still your teachers, aren't they, at school, whereas they're lecturers at college?
Yeah, I mean, college, you'll find that you're kind of pulling away from those school traditions. So there won't be necessarily a bell that you're listening out for in a day.
Yeah.
There won't necessarily be a structured timetable. You may be starting later or earlier. Lots of differences.
Yeah.
The other big thing with a college, if you go there, is there's a whole range of different types of subjects that you can take that you may not necessarily have had that chance to study before. So you've really got to look at what you want to study, I think, to make that decision.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, we've also got a text in. It says, "Hey Davey B, is there anywhere I can get a full list of all colleges? That way I can get an idea of where I could go."
Yeah. The website we mentioned earlier, kentchoicesforyou.com, if you go onto there, you can either do a search by college and get all your local further education colleges up on the screen. Equally, if you know what you want to study, you can put that into the search engine and click away and they will come up and be there for you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Craig.
Indeed.
Craig is our expert tonight from Connections, talking about further education. That's colleges, sixth form, anything like that. If you've got any questions, we want to hear from you tonight. You can get in touch by texting 87474. Make sure you start the word extra at the very beginning of your text message, then a space, and then your question and who you are and where you're from. You can tweet us or tweet about us at kmfmextra. Or you can get in touch via Facebook, which is facebook.com/kmfmextra. You can either direct message us or you can post on our wall and leave your question there. Just tell us who you are and all that kind of stuff. Right, David Guetta and Usher coming up next on The Fridge at KMFM Extra. This is KMFM Extra with Mike Posner. Cooler Than Me. We've got 303 and Katy Perry coming up. This is The Fridge.
The Fridge, KMFM Extra.
So what is the fridge? Well, all week we're talking about your after-school options, apprenticeships, college, employment, university, and further education. Our guest tonight is Craig Garton from Connections. Hello.
Hello there.
And why you are our expert? We're talking about further education. You're an expert on further education, correct?
Yep, that's correct. I work for an organisation called Connections. I'm a careers advisor, so a lot of my work is out there with students in the schools and the colleges advising them.
And you're impartial, yes?
Indeed, we offer impartial advice and guidance, so we're going to hopefully work with the students to come to the best outcome.
That's basically what we're highlighting tonight. Not only is Craig impartial, we're impartial too. We're just here to answer your questions and myth bust, basically. If you've heard some rumours, you don't know if they're true or not, you want some answers, get in touch. I'll give you the details very, very soon. Everything from sixth form and college we're talking about tonight. We're going to take some calls, we're going to take some texts. I've got some here, in fact, some texts first, Craig, for you to answer. The first one, guys, I want to become a sports coach in a few years' time. What's the best college to study in Kent? From Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, Mark. Sports coaching, you'll probably find that a lot of the FE colleges in Kent will offer some sports coaching courses. So, if you look through North West Kent College, Mid Kent College, Thanet College, a lot of them will offer some kind of sporting qualification. What you need to do is find the one that's in a good location for you, first of all, so you can get there. It's easy for you to get to, and you need to think about, I think, the experience they're going to give you as part of that qualification. Are they going to send you out on placement to a school? Are they going to get people in? What's the content of that course?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, the next one says, loving the show tonight. Can I have some more info on the best place for music tech? Been to Canterbury College, which was good, but anyone with good studios. Canterbury College have fantastic studios, of course, but any more can you recommend?
Well, the advice there, I think, for this person would be get out to a few of the open days that are happening. They're happening this month, next month at the colleges. Have a look at the ones particularly that are offering the music tech courses.
Yeah.
Your chance at the open day is to have a look round, ask them lots of difficult questions, but more importantly, to take a look at those facilities. So,
yeah, sure.
Start with Canterbury College perhaps, have a look at the baseline there, and then go and look at a few others and get yourself, some kind of comparison so you can make a decision.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Final question here on the text. Which college is in Kent has the most people attending it? Surely that one's going to be the best. That's from C.
That's an interesting question. There are a few big colleges in Kent. I mean, Mid Kent College has got a number of sites across Kent, so that's probably got a fair number of people going to it. It wouldn't necessarily follow that that's the best college for you, though. What you need to think about more importantly is what you want to study. Okay, what are you interested in? What do you want to get out of going to college? Those are the two really important questions when you're choosing where you go next.
Okay, fantastic. And we'll take another call. Here we go.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, it's Jack from Canterbury. I have to be honest, I've been to a few college open days and evenings and it feels like a sales pitch. I'm really confused as to what they're actually offering me as in education, as it seems to be focused on mainly extracurricular stuff and social rather than what I want to know.
End of message.
Interesting, coming straight off the back of you talking about the open days, someone that feels like he's being sold to when he goes to them. What can you say about that?
Well, the open day from the school, sixth form or the college perspective is about them kind of putting across to you what they can offer. So when you walk through the door, I think it is going to feel a bit like a sales pitch.
Yeah.
You need to go there really with a list of questions, a list of the things you want to find out about. And quite important, as we said before, is to have that kind of time beforehand to think about what you want to do. And then you can go along looking for, say, sport or music technology and actually ask the right questions.
So if say, for example, Jack is feeling like he's been sold to, is that then the right time for him to then speak to someone like you? Because obviously they are going to sell their products as best they can. You're impartial. You're not working for Canterbury College or Mid Kent College. You can then say, look, you know what? Music in Kent, you want to go to Canterbury College because it's the best in Kent. That's what you guys do, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it might be good for Jack to come back to his Connections advisor either in the school, if he's at school, or he can access us in the community if he wants to come one of our local access points. And we'll sit down with him and go through the pros, the cons, actually look at the content of the course and what he wants to achieve.
Yeah.
Those are the important questions for him to ask.
Fantastic. Okay.
All the colleges are going to be different, I think.
Okay. As with last night, all of the website links like kentchoicesforyou.com and the Connections website will be available on facebook.com/kmfmextra. So if you're not a friend of ours, add us. You can see all the information. You can post on our wall if you've got any questions tonight for Craig. Just add us. It's facebook.com/kmfmextra. You can ask a question that way, or you can tweet us. It's at kmfmextra. Or you can text us. The number is 87474. Start your message with the word extra, then a space, and then your question. We really would love to hear from you. We're going to take more of your texts, tweets, Facebooks and calls very, very soon. Right now, though, this is 303 and Katy Perry on KMFM Extra. Hello, this is Davey B. It is The Fridge for a Wednesday night on KMFM Extra. Tonight, we're talking about further education. FE for short. What is FE? Basically everything from sixth form to college and everything in between. We're answering your questions, taking your calls, we're taking your texts, emails, tweets, Facebook messages and so much more. Thanks to everyone who's asking questions. We'll give you the details very soon on how you can get in touch and ask that burning question you might have. We're joined by Craig Garton, who is a further education expert from Connections. Thank you for joining us, Craig.
Thank you for having me.
Right, I've got a few questions here. We'll just have a quick read through these. These are on the text. The first one, the other night I was listening and you spoke about fees. I'm only 14, but I didn't realise there were any. Any more info?
Yeah, that's a really good question. If you're leaving school, so if you're in year 11 and you're looking at college or sixth form, there are no fees. Right. So that's your chance to get some free education. The key thing there is picking the correct course and the correct place, so either college or sixth form.
Okay.
The other costs you have to think about, though, there are some courses where you might need to buy some equipment.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're going to study hairdressing, you may need to buy a kit of scissors or some of the equipment there.
Wowzers.
Yeah. So it's really good to ask those questions in the sixth form and college open evenings.
Okay.
So you really know up front what you've got.
And make sure it's a course you definitely want to do, because if you're doing mechanics or hairdressing, like you say, I guess you have to buy all the tools of the trade, and wowzers, that can be expensive.
Yeah, it's quite a commitment. So
Yeah.
you need to think about where you want to go, what the pros and cons are of those options,
Yeah.
and really do your research before you make that jump, that choice.
Right, absolutely. This is the theme that keeps coming up throughout the week, which is don't just jump into it. Don't take one person's word for it, and just research and get lots of advice and see where you go from there, basically. I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, definitely. Use your connections advisor in your school, use your friends, use your family. They will all have experiences as well. So ask questions, find out as much as you possibly can.
Right, okay.
You know, if you're going to go and buy a mobile phone, for example, you wouldn't just go and buy one. You'd do the research. You'd look it up and find out about it.
Absolutely. Next question. Can I know more about fees, as I haven't got the money for uni? That's from Tess.
Okay, yeah, university fees. You can do, I think as Malcolm said on Monday, you can do degree courses at your local college.
Yeah.
Okay, there will still be fees involved in that because they're higher education courses. What you might find is that the college fees are going to be less in some cases than the university fees.
Right.
So it is worth finding out about that. And you can live at home, of course, as well, so you're saving money there.
Might be a cheaper alternative.
Indeed.
Yeah, thanks very much for your text on that one, Tess. The final one. If I go to college, will they help me get the apprenticeship that I want? Any help on that would be brill. Thanks, from Kay. Thank you, Kay.
Yeah, if you go to College K, you'll find that most colleges will have what they call either a work-based learning department or an apprenticeship department. So they actually have a whole dedicated team there that are helping young people get into apprenticeships.
Right.
Most of the colleges, or all of the colleges out there, will have a connections advisor on board, and they will have their own careers advice team. So there's plenty of help there to help you move from your college course into work.
Right, fantastic. Okay, brilliant. Well, Craig's here. He's here till 10. He's answering your questions. If you have a question, we want to hear from you. You can text us. The number is 87474. Start your message with the word extra, leave a space, and then leave us your question and who you are and where you're from and all that kind of stuff. You can tweet us. If you're on Twitter, it's at kmfmextra. The direct message or post on Facebook, you can do it with facebook.com/kmfmextra. Would love to hear from you tonight. We're taking more of your questions very, very soon. It's The Fridge on KMFM Extra.
The Fridge, KMFM Extra.
You're listening to KMFM Extra. It's Wednesday evening. This is Davey B. Mode step to the stars. It is The Fridge. Hello.
The Fridge with Davey B. KMFM Extra.
So, all week, we're talking about you and your after-school options. From apprenticeships, we're talking college, employment, uni, and tonight, it's further education. That is everything from sixth form to college and everything in between. Craig Garton is here. Hello, Craig.
Hello there.
You're from Connections. You're an expert in further education.
I am from Connections, yep.
And we're going to do our best to answer every question that we have tonight.
We're going to do our best.
So far, so good?
It's going well.
Yeah, we got some calls in. Are you okay to answer these?
Yeah, let's do some.
Here we go. Let's take the first call.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, KMFM Extra. It's John from Folkestone. Just a quick question. Surely with universities becoming so expensive and unreachable, do you think college will be harder to get into? And will I have to fight for the courses I need? Cheers.
End of message.
Competing for courses.
That's a good question there from John.
Yeah.
What I'll say, colleges are competitive. You know, there are going to be more young people, I think, applying for college with the university debate and the fees.
Yep.
So, you know, you do need to think about what you're applying for, why you're applying for it, and make that good impression, I think, when you go along for your interviews and you make your applications. So it is important you think about that.
So that could shift. Instead of them selling to you, you could be selling to them.
Yeah, well, I always say to young people that, the open day is also about you presenting what you can offer, and also your chance to ask questions. So, that's quite important.
Okay. It's a two-way thing. It's a bit of a mutual relationship. That's interesting. Let's take another call now.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi Davey B, it's Katie from Gillingham. I've had to resit year 13 and there's quite a lot of pressure to get it right. Is there a limit of how many times you can resit year 13? The pressure's already starting to build and I'd appreciate any advice. Thank you.
End of message.
Resitting year 13. Craig,
Indeed,
what do you think?
right. It really depends what type of course you're taking and also your school, your sixth form, and how they feel about that. The answer to the question is yes, you can resit. You probably wouldn't want to do it too many times because you're looking at your progression, your career, where you want to go in your life. So, Katie, you've got to think about what you're doing there. Is that the right subject for you, I think?
Yeah.
If you feel it's worth another go and, you've tripped up on an exam or something, speak to the school about resitting and know your options now rather than wait until next summer and finding out at the last minute.
Do you have to do the whole year again?
It depends. Some courses are modular, so you can take bits and pieces as you go again and again and again. So you need to know what you're studying, you need to know what the options are. But I think in Katie's case, what she needs to think about there is the actual subject and whether it's the right subject. What are the reasons why it hasn't gone as well? Is there some support perhaps you can get in the school?
Yeah.
So that's speaking to the school, speaking to the staff, and if you need to get some impartial advice, speaking to Connections.
Okay, yeah, and like I say, we'll have all the information as to how you can get in touch with Connections and Kent Choices for you on our Facebook page at facebook.com/kmfmextra. We want to hear from you tonight. If you've got any questions on the text, it's 87474. That's the number. Text the word extra, then a space, and then your question. Tell us who you are and where you're from as well on the text. On Twitter, you can tweet us. It's at kmfmextra, or on Facebook, as I've just mentioned, it's facebook.com/kmfmextra. Want to hear from you tonight. We've got lots of questions on the text to be read out very, very soon, but we will get round to your question. Get in touch with us tonight. This is Jason Derulo on KMFM Extra. It's The Fridge.
With Davey B. KMFM Extra.
If you're wondering what The Fridge is, you've just turned on, you're wondering what the heck it's all about. We're talking about you and your after-school options. All week we've been talking about things from apprenticeship to uni. Today we're talking about further education. Tomorrow we're talking about just getting out there and starting up employment. Maybe entrepreneurship as well. But tonight, like I say, it's further education. We've got an expert from Connections called Craig Garton. Thank you for joining us, Craig.
Hi, Dave. Nice to be here.
So far, we've been doing a pretty good job of answering the questions of the people that have been texting in, tweeting, Facebooking, and we've got lots of texts here to answer now. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. First one. Hi, Craig and Dave. Can you give me some details on where I can find more information on any in-depth courses to do with hairdressing? I'm in Thanet, so anywhere near. From Sam. Thanks, Sam.
Right, okay, Sam. In Thanet, you've got Thanet College, which is your local FE college. They have a website you can tap into. We mentioned Kent Choices for you earlier. You can go on there and link straight to the courses that happen at Thanet College if you want to. In terms of hairdressing, that's an interesting one because that's also an area where you can pick up an apprenticeship. You can do a really practical course at the college and then go on to an apprenticeship afterwards if you prefer to do that. There may even be some sixth forms out there that have the facilities to do hair and beauty as well.
Right.
So it is worth doing your research on that and really thinking about the environment that's best for you.
So by going onto the Kent Choices for You website and the Connections website, you can actually look around and see if there are any hairdressing apprenticeships or also good colleges for that as well. It's a one-stop shop, isn't it, really?
Kent Choices for You is your area prospectus for Kent. So what that basically means is that all of the courses that happen in sixth forms and colleges in Kent are listed on that site.
Wow, okay.
The other bits of information that are on there that are critical are the entry requirements, so what grades are they going to ask from you, the course content, and you can link straight to the website of the college or the sixth form as well. So that's really useful.
Yeah, fantastic. So Sam, hopefully that's answered your questions, and if you do want to know the Kent Choices for You website link or also the Connections website link as well, which both of those have valuable advice, we'll give you the links on our Facebook page, facebook.com/kmfmextra. Next question. Davey, my name is Tom and I want to look into that music tech course you were talking about in Canters. Who do I talk to? It's a very good question. I guess Canterbury College, right?
Yeah, could talk to Canterbury College. If you go onto their website, they will have a list of their open events. So the really best thing to do is to get along there, ask the questions, direct to the department, speak to the people that teach it. and really think about what you want from them, what kind of things you want to know.
Yeah.
You will have a connections advisor in your school or your college, so that's a really good person to link with as well.
Okay.
And the other thing to think about is music technology. What do you want to do with that? So start thinking about where you want to go with it, what you want to use that qualification for.
Yes. Okay. That's really good advice. The connections people in the schools, are they impartial?
They are indeed, yeah. We're
Right.
there to give impartial advice and guidance. So go through those pros and cons with you, think about what is the best route for you, how to make that good decision.
Great, that's really good to know. Let's read one more now. KMFM Extra, can you please tell me where the closest place to do a catering course is? I'm in Strood. That's from Mike.
Wow, okay, catering, Mike. What I would suggest you do is contact your local college. I think the local college down there in Strood would be Mid-Kent College.
Yeah.
Get onto them, look at the courses they offer. If you don't find anything there, then again, it's coming back to the prospectus. Kent Choice is for you. Put catering in there. Sometimes it's called food preparation, or there might be a variation as to what they call it.
Yeah.
And start to kind of do some research around the local options.
Okay.
Yeah, it's obviously got to work for you in terms of travel distance, getting there, costs, that kind of thing. But there will be some courses in your area that you can link to.
If that's not for him, there are other options, aren't there? He could go to another college to do the catering if there's something slightly further afield, but...
Exactly, yeah. It doesn't have to be the most local college. This is your chance to make the best decision for you. So, I would say start with a blank page, look at what's there, most local, and then what's further out.
Yeah.
And then visit them. Go and ask the questions, compare, contrast, and see what you think.
Okay, interesting stuff. Listen, we want to hear from you tonight. I've given you all the details. I'll give you the text number once again. It's 87474. Start the message with the word extra, followed by a space, and then your message with a question and who you are and all that kind of stuff. Facebook. Let me remind you again, it's facebook.com/KMFM Extra. Not only do we have all the information on what we've been discussing tonight, but also you can post direct onto our wall if you add us as a friend tonight, and then we'll read out your question. Or, of course, you can tweet if you're on Twitter. It's at KMFM Extra. Get in touch. We've got Flow Rider coming up and the Swedish House Mafia coming up next on KMFM Extra. It's The Fridge.
With Davey B. KMFM Extra.
Right, so all week we're talking about your after-school options from apprenticeship to college, employment, uni, and we're talking about today further education, FE for short. Everything from sixth form to college, basically. Our guest is Craig Garton. How are you, fella?
Hello there, I'm very well.
Good. We're answering all the questions we can. We're getting a lot of texts in, a lot of emails. We're going to do our best to answer these as best we can with our expert. The first question. Fella, Matty C here, want to go to college not only with fit girls, but a student radio station. Nice. Any thoughts on that, Craig?
Well, on the radio station angle, you'll probably find that a lot of the colleges will offer media, as will the sixth forms. So you can learn about radio, you can learn about broadcast. In terms of student radio, you're probably going to find the universities are more likely to have their own stations.
Yeah.
Is a good question to ask, though, when you visit the colleges and you visit your sixth forms. Ask what kind of experiences they will kind of build into their courses.
Yeah,
they may sing you out. You don't know.
Canterbury College does have a good media section. I went there myself, so I can definitely highly recommend it. It was 10 years ago, but it was really good then. I know it's got better, so I can definitely recommend that. About the fit girls, any ideas on that? No?
Not so much, no.
Thanks, Matty C, for your text there. Next one. Hi, Extra. Want to do motor mechanics. I'm only 15, so not even started looking yet, but I'm really up for it. What's the best equipped place in Kent?
Well, most of the colleges, certainly in Kent, will offer motor mechanics in one form or another. As I said a little bit earlier, you may find some school sixth forms have their own built-in facilities to offer motor mechanics as well.
Yep.
So this really is coming back to kind of getting out there, what's in your area, what's close to you in terms of travel and realistic, really, and do some research on that. Probably linking to yesterday, really, the best facilities, you could argue, would be in the workplace.
Yeah.
So you might want to consider an apprenticeship. You may want to consider actually getting out there, going to work for a garage and learning on the job.
Yeah, that's better, isn't it? That's hands-on. Might be better for someone like that.
Yeah, some people learn better actually doing and more hands-on stuff. With an apprenticeship, you've still got to do the paperwork side. There will be portfolios and things.
Yep.
But it really depends what you want.
And you might have a job at the end of it. That's the thing that we were discussing yesterday.
Possibly, yeah.
Sometimes an apprenticeship is for you and it's not college. So just make sure you do all your research. Again, it's come back to that. Research is key. Right, next question. Hey, Sarah here. Can you say hi to my mates Tony and Casey? Well, we've done that. Hello. And tell us more about media courses. What kind of thing do you do in them? Love you. Oh, well, we love you too, Sarah. Thanks very much. What do you do in media courses?
Okay, media courses. Well, what you're looking at there is a kind of a combination of the theory and the practical. So you're going to learn about things like publishing, desktop publishing, sound production. You'll learn about the media industry generally, what's going on there, how do you get employment in that industry.
Yep.
So you're picking up some of those practical skills, but hopefully also learning about the more theory side of things. So you know a little bit about the industry and how to break into that at the end of the course.
I can vouch for that. I've done a media course myself. That's exactly what I did. Got a couple of emails here. The first one says, you guys have been talking quite a lot about college tonight. Is that because A-levels are not the future, or is it seen as the easiest option to stay at school now? Hope that makes sense, from Rich Coop.
Wow, it's a good question there from Rich. And, sixth forms are still very much an option. The money thing, there's money is involved in all of the decisions, isn't it? So college, sixth form, wherever you go, there will be money involved in that. But, as far as sixth forms are concerned, that may well be the best option for somebody. It may not be quite right for somebody else. So you need to think about your own situation. Okay. If A-levels fits best with you, that learning environment, you think you're going to be most comfortable there, then go for it. Yeah. Equally, check out the alternatives. You may not, be quite aware of what else is available in your area, so it's worth looking. Yeah.
Get lots of advice, basically, as well on it. See what you know is the best thing for you. Right, another one from Anon. My school has openly said that they see college as a cheaper option. Is that the case, or is that just a push to keep us in their sixth form, basically, like a money thing?
Yeah, it's not always the case. As we said earlier with the sixth form college thing, money kind of rules the world, doesn't it? Money's always involved in places and sixth forms and colleges, but it applies equally to both of those. So, you need to look at what your options are. If the school aren't necessarily telling you what's out there, access your connections advisor in the school, access connections on our website. Okay, get in touch with us, ask those questions. We're there to provide that advice and guidance around all of your options. Okay. It might be from the school's perspective that they just, they may not be aware of what other options there are in terms of apprenticeships or college. Yeah. You need to do that research and find out for yourself what's out there. Now's the time to be doing that. Yeah.
Do you know what? It does seem from some of the questions we're getting that there are some confusing messages coming out from the teachers and things like that. The advice for them is definitely to speak to their advisor, isn't it?
Yeah, every school in Kent has a connections personal advisor in there. So that is the person, if you want some impartial advice around what's available, you can go and tap into that person and ask them. Exactly. Schools often will have a big job on their hands doing the teaching and other types of things. They may know what's out there, but you may want to go and get, that other opinion as well.
So when they're saying, oh, my school's telling me to do this, they clearly haven't spoken to their connections advisor by the sounds of it.
They may not have done, no.
Exactly.
And, that person is there to give them the advice on the options that are out there and help them make that decision.
How do they get in touch with their connections advisor in their schools?
Well, the easiest thing to do is ask. Go to your teacher, speak to them about when connections are in. They'll be able to point you to the day that we're actually there.
Is it weekly, is it, in the school? Or?
Depends on the school, really. You'll find normally there's a regular day when you can come along and you can have an interview with your connections advisor. Yeah. So just ask, just find out.
That doesn't cost anything, does it? It's
no, not at all.
Free
service.
Yeah, fantastic. And the other way, of course, like we've been talking about, is via the Connections website, which we've got all the information on the KMF Extra Facebook page. It's facebook.com/KMFMextra, and all the information on Connections and KentChoicesForYou.com is on there. Really want to hear from you tonight. You can text us. The number is 87474, followed by your message. To that number, start the word extra at the beginning of the message. Also, you can tweet us. It's at KMFMextra, or like we're mentioning, facebook.com/KMFM Extra. Really want to hear from you tonight. We're doing our best to answer your questions, and we'll do some more very, very soon.
The Fridge with Davey B. KMFM Extra.
So this is The Fridge on KMFM Extra. Tonight, Craig Garton from Connections is our expert. We're talking about further education. That's everything from sixth form to college. We're trying our best to jargon bust. So if you're confused, you're thinking about, because it's around about that time now, if you're in year 11, you'll be thinking about what to do next. Well, we're going to answer your questions. We're going to take your calls, your texts, your emails, your tweets, your Facebook messages, and loads more as well. And completely myth bust. So you'll completely know what you want to do next after tonight. Get in touch. You can text extra to 87474, followed by your message. Tweet us your question or tweet about us at KMFM Extra. You can direct message or post us on our wall. That's facebook.com/KMFM Extra. Add us as a friend tonight. And then what you can do is when we're talking about stuff and we're giving links out that might be handy for you guys, you'll also be able to see those on our Facebook page. So it's kind of handy. And you'll also be able to see the links to the podcasts and the best of that we're doing all week and next week as well, that will be just replaying all of the best of, so you know all of the links and all of the advice that's been given either to you personally if you've texted in, or general advice as well, which is great for you moving forward. So make sure you add us, facebook.com/KMFM Extra. And the other reason to stay listening as well and actually not flick off when I'm a Celebrity comes on is because we're going to get really into the nitty gritty of A-levels and B-Tecs and all of these different things. It confuses me, but we're going to actually answer all of those questions because maybe you're in the same place as I am and it's confusing right now. What one's right for you? We'll answer that in the next hour. Plus, we've got great music on the show. I mean, that's great too. Nicole Scherzinger, nice one. Will.i.am and Nicki Minaj, nice one. And a bit of Enrique coming up next on KMFM Extra.
The Fridge with Davey B. KMFM Extra.
Yes. So, The Fridge, what is it? Well, we're talking tonight about further education. Everything from sixth form to college. If you're thinking about doing that after school, then this is for you. We're answering your questions. We're taking your calls, texts, emails, tweets, Facebook messages, and lots more tonight. Craig Garton from Connections is here as our expert to answer all your questions. Thanks for joining us.
Hello there, thanks for having me.
Good to have you here, mate. We've got a text, a tweet, and a call. We'll take the text first. This one says, "Hi Dave and the gang. I've given up watching I'm a Celebrity tonight for this, but I'm still confused by all the different messages. I'm 15, I'm leaving school and in May, and I want to succeed in business. B-Tec, A-level, what's right for me?" That's Cy in Thannington. Thanks, Cy.
Okay, good question there. This is probably a good chance for us to look at the differences there between the B-Tecs and the A-levels.
Yeah.
You'll find with the A-levels, they're often a little bit more academic, okay? Probably in those subjects that you're more familiar with at school, so things like your English, your history, your maths, those types of things.
Yeah.
Whereas the B-Tec, you're probably going to find they're a bit more industry related.
Okay.
Might be slightly more practical. With a B-Tec, you can take on things like it might be IT, okay, it might be engineering. And in some cases at colleges, you can concentrate on doing that B-Tec course on its own and you won't do anything else with it. Okay. With A-levels, you're often having to pick a combination of subjects there, so it's important to get the right combination.
Okay.
Right. Both are equally as good as the other, really. It depends on your learning style. Are you looking for something a little bit more academic?
Okay.
Are you looking for that kind of more practical course?
So A-levels more theory, B-Tech's more practical, basically.
Yeah, there are things called applied A-levels, which do put a practical slant on it.
Right.
So, there are options.
Yeah.
And equally, you'll find at some sixth forms, they will offer the A-level package. They may even offer some B-Techs tied in with that as well. Okay, at the colleges, if you're doing a B-Tec down at your local college, the main difference there is you're going to find that you're probably doing a B-Tec on its own. Okay, you're probably really focusing down and concentrating on one subject.
It leads nicely to the next question here, actually. It's from James Carter, who tweeted us on @KMFMextra. You can do the same. It's @KMFMextra. James Carter, he says, @KMFMextra, my school, DCCA, are only doing B-Tecs next year. I want to go to uni, so should I move to another school to do A-levels?
Well, not necessarily. You'll find B-Tecs are accepted by universities. So if that's the right study method for you, and we've spoken about some of the differences there, then that school, could be the right school for you. You can do your B-Tecs and move on to university afterwards.
Now, is there a perception that B-Tecs are the poorer little brother to the A-level? Is there definitely that perception? I'm getting that impression from the texts we're getting tonight. People don't even realise you can go to university with a B-Tec. Is that definitely the case?
Well, A-levels have been around for longer. I think that is the case. So you do get sometimes a sense from students when I'm speaking to them that they either haven't found out about B-Tecs or they don't really know what they're worth.
What they're worth. I mean, in the big wide world, if they don't go to uni and they want to use it on their CV, I guess A-levels are more accepted, I guess, in terms of seeing on the page. But I guess
Possibly, but then it depends what your B-Tech's in. If you've done a B-Tec diploma either at your school sixth form or at your college, and it's really focused down on an industry area like engineering, for example, then that could be really positive on your CV.
They'll see it and they'll know exactly what it is because that industry really do accept it.
Yeah,
I see.
But equally with the A-levels, if you pick the right combination and you're not really sure what you want to do with your life, A-levels can be quite good at keeping your options open. You can pick a couple of subjects that maybe are more arts related, have a science in there as well, and it's good at keeping those options open, I think.
So course to course it varies, basically.
Indeed.
Do universities take B-Tecs on one B-Tec alone? Or do you need like you sometimes need 2 or 3 A-levels to get
it depends. If you've gone on to a college and all you're doing is a B-Tec course, that is a full-time course, then the units you're studying there will add up to the same as 3 A-levels.
Right, okay.
So it may just be one qualification on paper, but the worth and the amount of work you're putting into that course is the same as choosing 3 or 4 A-levels. They do equate.
So you need to get some advice on that to make sure that it's the right one and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's about thinking, how certain are you that you want to study something? Are you really willing to invest in one thing and go and do that on its own? Or would you prefer to keep your options open, maybe pick up, 3 or 4 subjects? And, move forward from there.
Interesting. Okay. And we're going to take a call as well tonight, Craig. Here we go.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, David B. My name's Lisa, and I'm calling from Walderslade.
Someone told me once that college is for people who couldn't make it at uni. Is that true? It sounds stupid to me, actually, but I'd like to think that it wouldn't harm the chances of me actually getting the job that I wanted in the future. And what are the negatives of going to college?
End of message.
Oh, are there any negatives to going to college? Yeah.
Two parts to that question there. If we deal with the university bit first, you can do a college course and then go on to university afterwards. So college can be further education.
Yep.
Okay, so you may do that and then progress on to college. Or you may, as we said earlier, do a degree course, a higher education course at a college. So it isn't really a replacement. It isn't a poorer relation at all.
No.
It's just another way of studying.
Yeah, you'll have on your CV the word degree. It doesn't matter whether you did it at college or uni, right?
Yeah, if it's the right course for you, the right place for you, and you're happy and you've researched it enough, then go for it. That's the thing to do.
It's the qualification, not where you did it.
Yeah, you've got to pick the right thing for you. We've spoken already about course content. What opportunities are you going to get? Are you going to go out on placement? Are you going to do things that you really want to learn about in terms of, it might be computer software programs that you learn about.
Yeah.
Look at what you're going to get from the course, either at college or sixth form. But what's best for you.
Second part of the question then: what are the negatives to college? Are there any?
Well, if we look at it in the FE context, so you're leaving school and you're going to college, it is a different environment. It's a different way of learning.
FE is further education, by the way. Carry on.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So, it's a different learning environment. It's a different way of learning. The great thing about staying on a school sixth form is it's familiar. You're going to have some links there with your teachers. They're going to know you. So those are all positives. And, you can't get that at college.
Yeah.
But equally, we've said at college, you will have a range of subjects, perhaps, that you've never had the opportunity to study before.
Yeah.
So although it's going to be different, it's going to be a new challenge, you can get over those things. You can, if you're prepared, you can move past that and you can be successful.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to take more of your texts, more of your tweets, more of your calls. Let me give you the details as to how to get in touch with us tonight. You can text us. 87474 is the short dial text number. Put the word extra at the front of your text message, then a space, then your question. Tell us who you are as well and where you're from. Love to know that, especially if you're asking a question about where's the best college for me or something like that. We'll need to know where you're from. Also, as well, tweet at kmfmextra. You can do that, or you can join us via Facebook, facebook.com/kmfmextra. That's a really handy place for all of what's happening this week. We'll give you all the links, plus there'll be audio you can hear of the best of the show, so you can listen again to some of the advice that's been given out, because it might not have sunk in quite yet, but you might, when you listen back a second time, realise that something might be really relevant to you. So make sure you join us on facebook.com/kmfmextra. We've got more of your questions coming up very soon. This now, Calvin Harris, Dizzy Rascal, Dance With Me on the Fridge at KMFM Extra. So what is the Fridge exactly? Well, if you've been listening, you'll know. But basically all week we're talking about you and your after-school options, from apprenticeships, employment, college, university, all those different things. Basically, we're talking tonight about further education. What's further education? That's everything from sixth form to college and everything in between. Our guest from Connections is Craig Garton. He's an expert in further education. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Now, we're answering your questions tonight. We're taking your calls, your texts, your emails, your tweets. We've been doing it all evening. Don't watch I'm a Celebrity. This is better because we're talking about your future here. That's valuable and important, right?
Indeed. Don't watch I'm a Celebrity.
No, forget it. Put it on Sky Plus or something. Watch it later. It's fine. Right, so we're going to be taking some texts, some emails, and a call as well, if that's all right with you, Craig.
Sounds good, yeah.
Okay, the first one is a text. It says, guys, I'm hearing B-Tec, A-levels, stacks of information. Thing is, I'm 16, and with all my schoolwork, how do you expect us to know what's right or wrong? Do you think this is why unemployment figures are so high? Because it's all way too complicated.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the first bit there, the schoolwork and the pressure. And I think that's a fair comment, really. There's a lot of pressure there to do well at school. And what I would say to this guy that's kind of texted us in here is if you're not sure, if you're feeling confused, feeling a bit overwhelmed, then that's perfectly fine. That's normal, I would say.
Yeah.
What you need to do is speak to the right people to unravel that, to unpick, what the options are and what's right for you.
Yeah.
To take the pressure off, I mean, what it's probably worth saying is you can apply to a number of different things. You don't just apply to one thing and that's it.
Yep.
Okay. If you want to keep those options open, you can put an application in with your sixth form, which you might really want to do. You can have a backup application for college or a different sixth form elsewhere.
Okay.
You can play the system so it suits you.
Right.
Okay, and that's really important, I think.
Okay, interesting. Right, brilliant. We've got a couple of emails here as well that I want to read out. The first one says here, you have spoken about different people selling their courses. So surely in the same way you could go to a car showroom and be sold a car that's rubbish. You could also be sold a course that's not quite right for you. Who governs these people? Surely they're the people to blame if the course isn't right in some cases. So basically talking about inaccurate advice that might lead you down the wrong path.
Yeah, I think, the thing with this is mistakes always happen. I think we have to admit that. Sometimes people will end up on the wrong course, either because they haven't understood what it's about or they haven't looked into what they want to do thoroughly enough. But schools and the teachers in the schools, they're there to be honest with you and to help you. They're there to support you.
Yeah.
So when you go along, I think it really is about asking those questions, but keeping in your head much of what we've said tonight about those options. And you're the shopper. You can pick what you want next.
Yeah.
So you need to ask the right questions, gather the right information, and speak to the right people. And that may be connections.
Yep.
It may be the tutors in your school.
Yeah.
It may be by going to the open day at the college. You ask the right people there as well.
But asking more than one person is good. Do a bit of research.
Definitely.
And speak to impartial people. Like we've said before, kentchoicesforyou.com, impartial. Also Connections, the guys there that come into the school and are here tonight, for example, and also the website, impartial. So they're not going to be selling things to make their figures look good. It's not like that, is it?
It's not, no. And, Connections advisors, they're there to give you impartial advice and guidance.
Yeah.
And, you've got to be fair to the schools and colleges as well, I think. I think there is a lot of good, well-meaning school tutors and college tutors out there that will give you the correct answer.
Yeah.
But I think you need to ask, you need to think about the question you're asking.
Yeah.
And make sure you're getting the information you want.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And the best way to avoid that inaccurate advice, as the last email said, is just to make up your own mind after listening to lots of different sources of advice, your parents, your friends, these guys at Connections who are impartial also. So, yeah.
Yeah, the other thing to say on that as well is, you may go off and do a course somewhere at college or sixth form for a year, and it may not be the right thing, and that does happen, and it's not the end of the world. After that, at the end of that, you can put that qualification down in your CV, and you can look again at the options.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to slam a door in your face if you get it wrong the first time. It's just more sensible to make the best decision now while you've got the options.
Exactly. Let's take another email here. Dave, we just heard you talking about saying that a qualification holds the same bearing no matter where you do it. If that is the case, why does everyone get so excited about unis like Oxford and Cambridge? Surely there is the same feeling with some colleges.
Well, that is a really interesting question. I mean, when we look at universities, there is that kind of Oxbridge or Oxford and Cambridge kind of prestige thing there. I think, there's no getting away from that.
Yeah.
When we talk about colleges and FE colleges particularly,
Yeah.
They're more local, and what you're more likely to find is that we will have specialist colleges. So, in terms of reputation, you might have a college that has a particularly good reputation for catering, for example. So, Thanet College, the Gary Rhodes kind of department they've got there, that's an example.
Yeah.
You've got specialist colleges in Kent, such as Hadlow College.
Okay.
They offer a range of courses in there on animal care, horticulture, land-based studies, things perhaps that you can't study elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, that builds up a little bit of a specialist reputation.
Okay.
Okay, we've got art colleges. You've got the Brit School, for example, which is quite close to Kent. If you want to do a really specialist course in performance.
Yeah.
So there are
very famous, yeah.
Yeah, there are examples out there of specialist FE institutions.
So basically, although what we were saying earlier, which is it's the qualification, not the college you did it at, there are specific examples that counteract that. If you want to do something specialist, it might be, if you can get into a good one, if you do want to do catering, Gary Rhodes did qualify at Thanet College, and it might be slightly better than the other places. So do your research. It's back to that again. We've been saying it all week. Do your research and you'll find out for yourself, basically.
Do your research. Go along to the open days, because what you see on paper or what you hear in rumour isn't always the case. So you need to go along and you need to experience it.
Yeah.
So a course at one college may be fantastic and you may not realise that. You may not have heard about it. You need to go along and find out. A sixth form course at a sixth form that's local to you may be just the thing to you. But you won't know if you don't go along and you research it and you find out about it now.
Is it a lot harder to get into these specialist places? Like, for example, catering at Thanet College is obviously highly revered. Does it mean the places are limited and you've got to apply early? Is that something with places like that?
No, I think it's more along the lines of, there are subjects, there are areas out there that are quite popular. So if we talk about plumbing, for example, if we talk about, certain qualifications, certain areas will be popular.
Yeah.
So those are the ones to kind of latch onto. If you're going for a popular area, be aware that, the colleges and the sixth forms will fill up fast.
Yeah.
Sixth forms will also have application deadlines. So you need to know the score on when you've got to get your applications in.
When is that? Is that soon? I'm assuming it's kind of round now, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, schools will be having their sixth form open evenings, right about now, November, December. Some do it in January and February.
Yeah.
But normally what you find is there's a pretty tight deadline after that. So they will want all their applications done via Kent Choices for You normally, and they'll want it done within a few weeks. So, you've got to get your thinking hat on and be comparing and putting those applications in when you're ready.
So literally after listening to this week of shows, you should be really starting to think about it fairly soon, really, not stalling on it.
Now is the time to think about this decision. It's the time to get out there and really experience what options are available.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Interesting. Let's take a call as well. The last call we're going to take for this evening. Let's hear what they've got to say.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, Davey B. I'm Laura from Maidstone. I'm at a new school, currently doing my first year at sixth form. I left my last one because my parents didn't like it, although I hate this new place. Can I go back if I get approval from my folks? And how would I do this? Thanks.
End of message.
Shame she didn't mention which one it was. I wanted a bit of juice. Where is it? Why'd you hate it? She hates it. She wants to go back to the old place. Is that possible? I mean, halfway through something, would you have to start again at the beginning of next year? Could she transfer? What's the deal?
The factual answer to that question is yes, it is possible to go back.
Yeah.
What she needs to think about there is how far are you through that course?
Yeah.
Is it the right decision to kind of stop now on that course, lose that kind of that couple of months you've put into it,
Yeah.
and start afresh? In terms of start dates, you'll find with sixth forms, with colleges, there are certain times a year when you can start those courses. Not all of them are what we call kind of roll on, roll off. You can't just pitch up and start when you like.
Yeah.
So you need to think about the time you've invested so far, whether if you put some real work in, get some support, you can make it happen and really make a success of that, and perhaps move on to something different the following year.
Sure.
So it's it's a tricky one. I think this particular person needs to get some advice and guidance. Perhaps needs to sit down and go through their options.
Okay. Well, advice and guidance, like we've said, all the information on where you need to go and where you need to find out advice. Facebook.com/kmfmextra. Join us as a friend. All the information is on our Facebook page. All right, coming up, Alexis Jordan, good girl, next on KMFM Extra. Hopefully, we've myth-busted all of the questions that people have, all the rumours, all the truth, just to get the answers, really. We've got one more question to read tonight. You've got it there, Craig. Do you want to read it out?
I've got it right here. Okay,
Yeah.
This is the question. It says, Extra, want to go to uni, got options of my academy sixth form, Canterbury College, or Dover Grammar. From your experience, what type of school is better for someone who wants to go to uni and do medicine? So that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Medicine, extremely competitive at university. The things that you need to be thinking about, Andy, here are what type of A-levels you're going to go and study. So for medicine, we're looking particularly at the sciences, we're looking at biology, we're looking at chemistry. So you need to find somewhere that offers that, okay, and links in with you, so it's convenient for you to get there. You're going to get the support on those subjects and you feel confident about it.
Okay.
The other thing to think about with medicine is make sure that's the right route for you before you pick those subjects. Do some research on it, look it up, okay? Think about whether those types of sciencey qualifications are really going to fit with your skills and your interests.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Because that's more than just a couple of years, isn't it? Medicine and things to do with being a doctor. 6-7 years of sticking it out, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some really good advice out there about medicine. If you go to the British Medical Association website, some really good careers advice there to get you to think about whether it's the right route for you.
Okay.
It is quite, specific on the entry requirements when it comes to university and quite competitive.
Yeah.
So, quite an important decision to make now
Okay.
as to whether you follow that direction, I think.
So research is key. That's what we've been talking about. It keeps coming up. Every single show, it's all about asking around. Ask your friends, ask your parents, ask your careers advisors, ask the connection guys. Go to kentchoicesforyou.com and then just make your decision based on all of the research that you've done. Well, we've been talking about further education today. It's been enlightening, to say the least. I hope we've cleared it all up for you. Thank you so much, Craig, for joining us.
It's been fantastic.
It's
Thanks
been
for having
brilliant.
us. It's been
You're coming
great.
back in tomorrow. We're going to have everyone back in that's been in, and we're talking about employment and, if I can say this, entrepreneurship.
So
that's everything from just going in and doing a job yourself, leaving school, going straight into work, right the way through to starting your own business. Keen to hear about that. Looking forward to speaking to our guests tomorrow. If you've got any questions for those guys about that, you can text 87474, start your message with extra. Or, of course, you can go on Facebook, which is facebook.com/kmfmextra. All the best bits of today's show will be on there, plus all the previous shows as well. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much. Alexis Jordan coming up next at KMFM Extra.
The Fridge with kmchoicesforyou.com.